Gray hair adventure, things I learned about life when I stopped dyeing my hair, is my personal story about what happened when I decided to take the plunge and no longer color my hair. I did it for reasons that I think were kind of unusual. It wasn't because I was sick of dyeing my hair, and it wasn't because I had a chemical reaction to the dye. It was simply because when I'd see a woman who had awesome gray hair, whether it was occasionally in real life or a lot of times on Pinterest or on the internet, I would just think, wow, she looks so confident and so self-assured. I want a piece of that for me. I just really, really loved the look. So the Gray Hair Adventure is kind of me deciding to take the plunge and then to see what happened. Well, when I decided to stop dyeing my hair, I ran it by my family and they were completely fine. They were actually really excited. I showed them the pictures of kind of the look I was going for, and I got a thumbs up from them. So it was all fine. And I was all, thinking this is going to be a cool thing. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but I just thought, oh, this is cool. And so I went to my hairdresser to get a haircut, and I wanted to tell him what was going on for me, that I was going to stop dyeing my hair. And I thought he was going to be really excited. We had a good rapport. He was French, so he had some style. I just thought it was going to be an exciting thing for him to share with me, but actually he completely freaked out. His reaction was completely the opposite of what I expected. And at first I was really stunned because I hadn't encountered any kind of resistance at all. I really had no idea what I was kind of stepping into by no longer dyeing my hair, and it just really spun me out. I have a small YouTube channel. At the time it was really small.
I do videos that are going to help you totally.
And there was something in me that was like, maybe there's something to the idea of talking about this to my community, to just share my experience and share what, I thought something that was going to be really fun, and now it kind of was turning into something weird. Maybe someone else can relate to this.
And I decided that I'm gonna let my hair grow out gray. No. That's my opinion.
Maybe someone else will really want to follow along as I go through this process and step into the unknown. I'm not going to sit in that chair anymore and get my roots done. So I started doing that, and along the way I realized that I was on an adventure myself that tapped into a lot of different parts of my life. And so I was kind of going on this journey, and at the same time through the YouTube videos I was getting a lot of emails and messages and hearing stories from women from all walks of life, hearing their experiences. And so the book kind of is a combination of stuff that I couldn't talk about on my YouTube channel. So it's my personal journey, the behind the scenes of what happened to me as I went on this gray hair adventure, and then also the most common questions, challenges that women that contacted me were facing. Well, there were actually two surprises. The first one is that my hair did not grow out the gray, the extreme gray that I thought it was. And the reason why that was so surprising is because I used to go to the hairdresser to color my hair to cover up gray religiously, like between every 6 to 8 weeks. It was really strong, but when I finally ditched the dye, I realized that my hair is more of a salt and pepper color. It wasn't anything like I expected. So that was one surprise. But the second biggest surprise, and probably the one that has the most, gives me the most pause, is that I got many emails and messages from women who were under 40. I'd always thought that the going gray thing was for women, my age, women at midlife and beyond. But I got so many messages from women who were under 40, some in their 20s, who had gray hair, who had been going gray since they were teenagers. And some were really cool with it and were really, ditching dye and going for it. And others were very scared to stop dyeing their hair. They were told from, family members not to do it, friends not to do it, the media not to do it. And so they had this level of fear and they were covering it up. And I just felt like, wow, it's interesting how the idea of ditching the dye and letting your hair grow gray is confronting for a lot of women that are getting older, that are at midlife and beyond. But I thought, wow, to have that kind of level of fear when you are in your early 20s with, so many years ahead of you, to live with that kind of level of fear, to live with that feeling of wanting to do something but being afraid to do it. I just thought that's a lot of years to not be able to live your authentic self. So that big surprise to me was that gray hair is not necessarily a sign of aging. It's a genetic thing. And yeah, that was for me, that was kind of revealing. The biggest thing that I learned about going on this gray hair adventure is that doing something like this is kind of parallels how you make a lot of the decisions in your life. For a lot of us, when we go on the gray hair adventure, we're really worried about what other people would think. And I found it very fascinating to go and to look at every single emotion that I had going through this adventure and seeing how did that parallel to other aspects of my life. And for a lot of women, it was clear that, they relied on the opinions of others for major decisions in their life. They wouldn't do the things that their heart really wanted them to do, was crying out for them to do, because maybe a partner didn't agree with it, or a mother didn't agree with it, or a kid, one of their children didn't agree with it. So it was really fascinating to see that this type of thing can really reveal how you operate in the world, how you operate not only with the decision making that you do, but how do you deal with the authority figures in your life. And just like a doctor or a dentist, a hairdresser is an authority figure. So it's really fascinating from a decision making point of view, the parallels that I found from the simple act of just not dyeing your hair anymore to the really big decisions that we have to make in life. Well, what I like about my book is, although I guess you could kind of call it like self-helpy in a way, it really is a story. And in some ways, I guess I stand for that boomer generation type of person who is at this crossroads in life where I want to matter. I want to, find my way. For me, I'm going through a new career change, and I'm also thinking about, how am I going to look as I go through this next part of life? So I get really honest and tell the truth about what it feels like to be at this stage in life. And I think that someone who is, feeling uncertain about going down the next half of their life is going to find this book like a bit of a friend, someone who's being really honest with them so that they'll know that they're not alone. And then, of course, on the self-help side of things, I think that one thing that this book really emphasizes is that we have to really start learning once and for all, even if you're getting into the later stages of life, to learn to feel beautiful from the inside. There's no injectable, there is no surgery, there is no type of leg lifts, there's no hair color that ever will alleviate the fear of how you look. And you have to start from within, or it's just completely chasing your tail. I think this book can really give women confidence to feel good from within. So regardless of whether they choose to dye or not to dye, they're gonna feel really good, not only about their beauty choices, but about themselves.